Hi everyone, it's me, Darlene. The subject of this video is probably going to surprise many of you. It is surprising even me. I am going to be talking about mail, and in an upbeat and good way. Let's backtrack a little bit. I'm looking at my channel and I see that it was almost a year ago that I uploaded a vlog spot titled Letting Out Some Anger Triggered by the Mail. It is probably to this date the video that I most wanted to never upload, because when I was editing it I just felt like it was just a terrible, terrible video that was going to come across as me being very angry and unappreciative and all that. And for the most part, that's correct. I just didn't think it was necessary for anybody to know that. But it's my channel, my therapy, and I went ahead and did it. I have never watched that video since, and I am not going to watch it now. But you can, if you want, to go get a refresh as to how I react to mail. Long story short, I just don't do well with personal things like getting cards, getting nice notes. Even in the comments, I have a hard time with nice comments. I'm getting much, much better at it. But hate comments are comical to me. They don't threaten me. I don't take them personally. But sometimes just a nice comment that I know is given from the heart can trigger some sort of rage. And I can only ever just have it boil down to the way I was raised, or, you know, I had absolutely no self-esteem, things like that. I don't want this to become a therapy session, but I just have a hard time with personal things. Things that have to do with business, absolutely love that. I have gotten so many requests, and I still do, because people who don't know about that other video, which will be linked down below for your viewing pleasure or displeasure, they don't realize that I have an issue with mail. So I still get asked often, what's your P.O. box? Where can I send you something? I want to send you something. Two reasons I didn't want anybody to send me anything. First, the issue with the mail. Second, I don't need anything. I just don't. I am a semi-hoarder who would love to get rid of everything I already have. But I can't pick up a friggin', pencil without lead and with a scratchy eraser and toss it. I have a hard time with things like that. So if I got all kinds of trinkets and doodads and stuff, it would just make my world more miserable. Plus, it would be almost impossible for me to act happy while opening it, because it would be totally fake. And you guys would know it was fake. I can't open something and say, oh, how nice, thank you, when I want to just say, what the fuck is this piece of shit? You know what I mean? It's like, I just can't do it. But I have a nice compromise here that those of you who want to send me stuff, I think you're going to like this, and I am going to absolutely love it. It's going to open up my world to receiving mail in the absolute most appreciative way. And here is what it's going to be. I am going to let you guys send me, if you want. This is not mandatory, and I am certainly not begging. And I want you to listen to everything before you make decisions as to whether or not you think I'm just asking for a handout. Because I have a plan here in place that I think will benefit many. If you want to send me articles of clothing that I can use for my upcycled fashions, I cannot think of anything I would enjoy more. I would cherish those packages and open them with every bit of love that they would deserve. I really am passionate about this idea. I have put a lot of thought into it. I am moving forward with it, and I hope that some of you who do want to send me stuff will find it like a good alternative as to what you can send me. Again, it's not that I'm being fussy and saying, I want this but not that. But in the way I am being fussy, it's that I don't need anything else. I just don't. I just don't. And I just don't want to hoard things. And I don't want to hoard clothing either. So, here's the plan I have. First, any packages that I get, I will indeed open on camera. So you will get a shout out. You will see the items you sent me being shown to the world. However, during my recording, if I open a package that has nothing to do with this, that somebody still insists on sending me something else, I probably won't show that on camera. I know that sounds, again, kind of maybe on the rude side, but I just don't want you guys to waste money sending me things that I absolutely do not need. Really, it would make me feel bad. So I don't want to encourage that. I don't want to encourage people sending me gifts of other things. I really don't. Because I'm not about wasting money. Don't waste money on me. Please, please don't. I ask that the items are clean. If you happen to pick something up at a thrift store, that's usually clean. You can smell it if it doesn't stink. But my goodness, if it's your own clothing, don't take it out of the laundry pile and send it to me. And again, if I open something and it's disgusting on purpose or whatever, that's not going to make it to the video. You will not see that on camera. So save your postage even. Don't send me something just to try to insult me. I don't need dirty underwear. You know what I mean? I imagine all these things. I really don't expect that, but I do know it can happen. Any garment is fine. I can't stress this enough. I don't want you to think, well, she's probably going to get a lot of t-shirts. I'm not going to send that. I would love a lot of t-shirts. I want to do tutorials on t-shirt quilts and things like that. It would be so helpful to me if they would just appear at my door and I wouldn't have to go shopping at thrift stores and try to figure out which ones. It takes all the pressure off of picking the right things. When something is given to me, it's like, oh, I can focus on what can I do with this, instead of getting the idea of, I want to make this and I have to go find the right garment. The garment comes and now I'm inspired by the garment, and that will lead me in the direction of what I should do. I'm so excited about this. Garments that have broken zippers, missing buttons, holes, even like a stain that would be like not in too much of a conspicuous spot, you know what I mean, that leaves me enough fabric to work with. I mean, I asked for it to be clean, but if it's got stain on it, some paint on it, or your child drew on your favorite white blouse with a black permanent marker, things like that, because there are parts of clothing that I can use. So again, that would be a nice challenge. What can I do with this broken item? Also, if there are things like broken zippers or missing buttons or holes or ripped seams or whatever, I could probably turn some of those into tutorials as to how to mend something or to replace a zipper, stuff like that. So it would all be still put to good use. One thing is, you do not get the transformed item back. This is not a matter of you send me a t-shirt and you tell me to turn it into a skirt and you get it back. None of that happens. And just keep listening, because I'm going to tell you what does happen to all these things. But no, you get no part of this back. By sending me the clothing, you know it's gone from your life. You will see it on a video, and you will hopefully see it transformed into something, depending on how much I get and what I can use. Here is what I will do. Any item that gets transformed, I don't care if I take just a piece of clothing off something that someone donated to me and use it in a project of any kind, that will go on eBay, and 10% of the sales will go to charity. eBay has a setup that is so nice. Any auction that I list, I can use the option to donate 10% to charity. They have a slew of charities listed. My thinking is I'd probably vary the charities. I'm usually fond of ones that help animals, but I also like ones that help people. So I would probably vary them. And when the auction closes, that 10% just goes directly to that charity. It doesn't come into my hands. So you are assured that that 10% is going to charity, and you would be a part of that, because by you donating something to me, it in turn will help a charity. If I have stuff that I can't use, or I get just too much stuff, I don't think that's going to happen, but it's possible. And also, it's certainly possible that I might get a garment that just never quite makes it into the mix. I would donate that clothing to Another Chance thrift store in North Berwick, Maine. All the proceeds of that thrift store do indeed help animals. Their animals are fostered, and I do believe they do have a shelter, not on location. And all the proceeds go to take care of these animals until they can find a forever home. I really love that thrift store. They sell their things as cheap as possible, cheaper than any other thrift store I've ever been to, because it's small and they want their stock to rotate. So I'm all about that. If they were to say we have enough and they can't accept it, then my next option, because it's easy for me, would be to donate to the Salvation Army, because we have the bins here in town. But I'm pretty sure there wouldn't be too much to donate. I don't expect to get a lot, and I do expect to do something with everything that I get. But just so you know, none of that stuff is going to be just in my cellar collecting dust. It's going to be donated, and I'm not going to hang on to things for long. If I really know I'm not going to be able to do something with an item, it will go to Another Chance so someone can buy it and it will help the animals. Again, I don't want to be hoarding clothing. Even scraps that I use, like if you send me a pair of jeans and I have some pant legs left over, they may go into a quilt. And then I did want to mention that, say for instance, I see a pair of pants, somebody sends me a pair of pants, and I only want the legs. Well, what I would do is cut the legs off, hem the pants, and donate the upper portion. I would, make it so that it's wearable again and donate. And just like if you send me a shirt with no buttons on it, and I'm not going to use the shirt, I have no problem with sewing some buttons on that shirt, making it whole again, and then donating it to the thrift store. It would all be put to good use. And I already don't remember if I mentioned, but definitely any scraps that I have can be turned into quilts or quilt blocks. I don't know if I'm ever going to be big on making entire quilts, but I do have a passion for making quilt blocks, and I absolutely would love to continue doing that. And again, any quilt block or any project that has any scraps of clothing that was donated to me, if I sell that on eBay, 10% would go to charity. If I don't put it on eBay, it gets donated to a thrift store. I'm not going to make a quilt with the clothing that you send me and give it away to a relative. It's all to help others. I'm going to just pay it forward. Don't worry that you think I'm getting too many t-shirts or too many jeans or whatever. I can do stuff with a lot of those things. But you can also think, what else could I send Darlene that would be unique and different? Things that I probably haven't even seen. The exciting thing about this is you guys are all over the place. So you could find something so cool that I would never find in a thrift store around here. Do look for things with unusual closures or funky buttons, straps, all kinds of things like that, because those are the fun parts. I can sometimes just look at something and say, ooh, let me make this out of that. I'm just so excited, I can't tell you. Okay, now here's the part that you're going to think I'm crazy. I am going to have you send to my home address, not a P.O. box. First of all, I have no interest in going to the post office to pick up packages. And if I get a P.O. box, packages are not going to fit in there, so I'm going to be forced to go to the counter, which means I could have to wait in line. Even if I don't have to wait in line, I have to talk to somebody. Here's my card. Can you get my packages? I just have no interest in any of that. Some of you are going to say, you can't give your home address out to the world. I want to remind everyone, I grew up in a time where everybody's phone number and address and name was in the phone book. You could look up anyone. You could call information and get that info. It was very easy to find out where someone lives or their phone number. And guess what? It still is that easy. It really is. 2 seconds on the internet and you will find my name, my phone number, my address. And then if you look at Google Earth, you will see my house with my car in the driveway, unless they recently changed that picture. I think they have it. It used to be with my Jeep. Now I have a Nissan, so I don't know if the most recent picture is my Nissan in the driveway or not. Very easy to find someone online. It is. Most of you know where I live. at least the majority of you know I'm in Maine. Many of you know I'm in Sanford, Maine. That narrows it down even more. You can look at public records for taxes and find out my address. I am not going to live in a world where I have to be forced to get a P.O. box because I'm afraid that somebody is going to come to my house and harass me. Because you know what? Somebody who really wants to do that will take the tiny effort that's involved to find me. Those of you who don't care to do that, what does it matter if you know where I live? It's just, I don't understand the paranoia in this world. Because I know, yes, it's like I'm inviting people to my house, but you don't need to be invited. The crazies will come. You don't have to invite crazies. They find a way to get there. I'm not concerned about it, but with this said, I am going to beg those of you who are local, do not stop by to drop stuff off. I am so not comfortable with somebody knocking at my door. I hate it. It makes my blood pressure rise. It's enough when I know somebody's coming, but to not know someone's coming and I hear that knock on the door, it's like I am glued to the wall and I just want to pass out, and 9 times out of 10, I won't even answer the door. I think that's about it. I started to sound a little grumpy there. It's not because of potential packages coming at me. That will not make me unhappy in any way. I just can't even imagine. I would be like a child with Christmas coming right around the corner. Any day, every day. I would just absolutely love it. I anticipate people saying repeatedly in the comments, you shouldn't give your address out. And when I read that, I read it in that voice in my head. I should change my head voice to something more pleasant, and maybe it wouldn't piss me off so much. Oh, last but not least, if you would like to send me something, but you don't have clothing, or you don't want to pay the postage to send an article of clothing, another thing that I would like that you could send as a little trinket that I would also open on camera, buttons. I don't care if they are buttons that you cut off a shirt. I don't care if they are buttons that you actually buy. I don't care if they're buttons that you find at a thrift store. I don't care if they're new buttons or old buttons. I love buttons. I would certainly use some in the upcycled fashions, but even if I don't, that would be a collection that I would cherish. I just love buttons. I could have big jars of buttons and just play with them and look at them. And when Skylar's here, sort them out. So that's another thing. Clothing, buttons. I don't want you sending me a back scratcher. I don't want you sending me a box of tissues for my crying fits. Not as many of those lately. And did you notice that I'm open to mail because I'm feeling friggin' better? I feel so much more alive. I feel like I can actually do normal things. Let's just hope that I can stay depression-free. It's what's keeping me on this meat diet that I'm on because it feels good. I can't describe to you the difference between the way I felt all my life and the way I feel now. Still not perfect, still working on a few issues, but I'm getting there. And no, please don't tell me what to do, please. I shouldn't have brought up what I'm eating, not in this video. I want this to be a nice, upbeat video. We're talking about mail. We're talking about packages that I'm willing to open. My address is down below in the description box. I will also put it in the top comment that I will have pinned. I'll probably leave it in the description box all the time if you ever want to go and check. Let's just see how this goes. I will be super excited. I just can't wait to see what you guys send. I love prints. I love anything. It could be anything. I can't stress that enough. I would cherish any garment or even stuff that you get at a thrift store that's fabric, like sheets or pillowcases, whatever. Anything that I can use to sew that you can find somewhere, I would be most happy to receive that from you. And it will all be paid forward. We'll help charities, we'll help the animals, we'll help people, we'll just help. I can't wait to do my first mail opening. So make sure you're a part of that. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.
If you want to see an example of how much I struggle when I'm recording a video, I have a blooper on my Mixed Nuts Facebook group. It's a public group. You can go check it out. I'll have the link for you down below and in the comments. And while you're there, you can check out videos from other Peanut Gallery members. And if you also create videos for YouTube, please join the group.